everyone, and welcome to a very special broadcast. I think it's the first in chess history. The WR Chess Masters is now going to have a special Bughouse chess tournament featuring 8 teams, and it's going to be marvelous fun. The tournament is about to get started as we're going to be playing a round robin. My colleague, Anastasia Karlovich, Women's Grandmaster, is going to be in the playing hall, and I'm going to be sending it to her at certain moments, and she's going to be sending it back to me, the broadcast, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm going to be calling the action as you see it. I don't have a special board in front of me. I'm going to be relying upon the cameras in the playing hall where the players are playing. And at this moment, as I'm looking down the list of teams, I'm looking at that team between Wadim, our tournament organizer as well as sponsor, and Levon Aronian. I think those two guys are going to make an incredible team. In the meanwhile, like I say, I like to send it over to Anastasia Karlovich, who again, she's going to be in the playing hall asking the players their views, their thoughts, and I'm hoping she's ready as I send it over to her now. Did it work? I'm not sure. Are we over with Anastasia? Is she ready or not yet? 5. Okay, cool. It's coming. It's coming. I promise you Anastasia's going to show up very, very shortly.
Now it's working? Yes, everything is fine. Okay, once again, welcome to... Это второй год. Welcome to Bughouse chess tournament. Players are here, the arbiter is here. He will just tell us a little bit the rules because they're different from normal chess, obviously. So let me ask a few questions. The players, what is the mood before the first round? Wesley, are you ready to win the tournament or it's just for fun?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nice to play against these young players and nice to play against Vadim to have this tournament for first time.
Whom are you playing with?
I'm playing with Prague over here, and he's improving every game. He practiced a lot last night, so I'm not sure what his skills are now.
How does it feel to play with Wesley today? What are your expectations?
Yeah, no, I believe in Wesley more than me, so yeah, I hope we'll do good. Yeah.
Yes, okay, good. So probably we have to come to the rules, please.
Yeah, a few words on the rules. So we already mentioned the rules a few days ago in the VIP room. There are some small changes on request. So I think the general rules are clear. If you capture a piece, you hand it over to your partner and your partner can insert it instead of making a regular move. It's not allowed to insert a piece delivering a checkmate, but it's allowed to insert a piece delivering a check. And it's also not checkmate if somebody can insert a piece in between. Even if he does not have a piece currently, he has to wait until he gets one and then he can insert it. If you promote a pawn, the pawn goes to the opposite team and you can grab from the board of your partner one piece of the opponent of your partner and can insert it instead of the pawn. So the special request was, and what we included in the rules, touch move is not in place. So as long as you have not pressed the clock, you can also undo a move and make a different move. Maybe you can also use both hands, and there was another special request that also the partner can suggest moves on the board of the partner. And because nearly everything is allowed, we make it in a way that the arbiter does not interact in the game, only if asked by a player or requested by a player to make a decision, the arbiter will interact. Otherwise, play and have fun and tell me the result at the end. Okay, if there are any questions, let me know. The rate of play is 5+0. So, and the game is ended if on one board is a checkmate or one player runs out of time, then both games are ended and there's 1-0 or 0-1 depending on the result.
Yeah, I have also one request. After you finish the game, don't touch the pieces for 1 minute or two. Don't put them back, so we can see the position for some time, right? And analyze it a little bit, like what has happened, you know. So which of the rule you find the most, the craziest, Yanish?
I mean, the one where you can tell your opponent what to move. I think that's very much out of the box. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Have you ever played with touch rules? I mean, with opportunity to play any other move if you even performed the other one?
Not in a tournament game, but when we play bullet, we don't care about the rules, I think.
Yes. So you're ready to play without rules, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think everybody is ready to start the first round, and we can invite, I guess, the players. The first round.
For the first round, we have Anish and Gukesh on the one side, and on the other side, Wesley and Prag.
So now the players, they take their seats. We have the first round, and we can see also the other players waiting for their time to play. Yes, everybody is in a good mood. And Sagar, how is it going?
Yeah, it looks very exciting. I don't know who's going to win it, but I feel it's going to be great fun. Very, very unique event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excited.
Very excited. Yes, me too. I mean, we all love chess, and of course, after 10 days of training, we expect the players to perform really well. So now we're going back to the studio. I think it's time to go back to Yasser. I mean, the games are about to start. Everybody is happy and ready to play without rules. Yes. No rules.
Into that position for just a second. We saw the pairings there that Wesley So and his teammate Prague are going to go up against Anish and Gukesh. I can tell you that from yesterday, I was playing against Gukesh and Anish, and they make a very formidable team. Again, the games are underway, and we see that I love white in the situation on the screen on the bottom left, because white's king is super safe. If he puts a pawn on the h3 square, it's like his king is untouchable. This move queen c1 is a nasty move. Ooh, sacrifice on f7. Knight takes f7, and then he wants to put a pawn on g6 and crush the black king. Oh, look, he gives up the rook. That was a good decision to give up the rook. Knight to e5, threatening once again to put a pawn on g6, and bishop to g6. That's not as good a... Oh, you have to sacrifice. Yeah, he's got to sacrifice, and he's done it. We're expecting king takes f7. Now, white needs another knight in the position, and white's going to get the knight because the partner just captured a knight on e5. So the knight's going to jump to e5, and a pawn is going to go to g6, and then you've got all of those checkmates. Checkmating patterns. There you see it. Oh, somehow black managed to put a pawn on f7. You've got to put a pawn on g6 in these positions as white. And on the other game, black's king is incredibly safe on f8. Queen takes f8, and you've got ideas of bishop takes g2 in the position. You got to get rid of the queen, of course. Rook takes h5. Oh, because he kept his queen on d8. Rook takes. Oh my gosh. Any kind of, I was about to say, any kind of knight move like knight to h5 in the position on the right would be good. Remarkable. And the game on our left, black has done a great job at shoring up his king side, the pawn on f7, and indeed with the pawn on g4 there's an infestation. Oh, it's going fast, it's going fast. The game on our right, queen g5, rook f4. Okay, you just need to, rook takes f7 check. No checkmating threats. Looks like black is winning on the game on our right. His partner needs to put a pawn on h3. There. Gukesh is in big trouble in his game with Prague, and Anish needs to put a pawn on h3. I don't see a good with the clock. Somebody's stalling, and I'm sure it's Gukesh. Gukesh is stalling. You see a lot of laughter and banter amongst the players. I just have no idea what's going on over there. I think Prague is pointing out the obvious. My opponent's checkmated. And we have knight takes g4 as Wesley feels the heat to get rid of that pawn. Something like f3. And there we go. Rook takes f7, king g8, played very quickly. And Gukesh is in terrible trouble. He needs a knight. He needs a couple of knights, actually. I don't think he's going to get him either. Wesley is like, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. We're in trouble. So, yeah. And it just appears as if Wesley and Prague are laughing at their own demise here as Team Anish and Team Gukesh go on to their first victory. And what I think we're going to do is throw it over to Women's Grandmaster Anastasia Karlovic to ask the players their instant reactions.
Yeah. Yes. And what happened actually in the board? Because we see the final position. So I think, guys, you won, right? So tell me.
No, this is just a masterpiece. So
Yes, of course.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's just a great game, yeah.
yeah, White cannot prevent any checkmate, and Prague played very quickly. He just played strongly. I don't have to do anything.
Yes. But I think at one point you wanted to give a chance to your opponents. Wesley, why?
Yeah, to make it more fun. I mean, they each had 4 minutes.
I see. So how many checkmates we have on this position? Like they cannot really defend?
Yeah, no, it's just mate. Yeah, I'm threatening 2 mates here. And yeah, I mean, we have like 30 seconds each. So, like, he just has a knight and it can't do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
But did you have fun first round?
No, winning is always fun. So,
So far so good, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I think we are going to have soon the second round. It's about to start. Wait a second. We have a second round.
So the second round is Jan and Maxim against Vadim and Levon.
So we're starting soon the second round. Let's stay for a while with our players. And yes, they're about to start. Vadim, can I ask you a question before you sit? Just for 1 second. I know you are very, very busy. So Bughouse is here. Yes, finally we have the tournament.
Yes.
So how do you feel? How do you feel before the first round?
Yeah, we feel good, and our aim is to win, of course, and we try our best right now.
Yes. So what is it Bughouse for you? Why you like it so much?
Well, it's a very interesting kind of tactical game, and I like it more than chess because here you have only tactics, no strategical, no opening things, no end games, only tactics. This is what I like, and this is why I play this game much more better than chess.
Yes. Did you have any special preparation?
Actually, no.
All these days we don't count, yes? Playing in VIP area.
Yeah, but it's like fun. No serious preparation.
I
But
think, Vadim, you prepared all your life for this event. I have a feeling.
we will see. We will see.
Okay, good luck, all the best, and
Thank you.
enjoy. So for the second round, we have two teams. Levon will play with Vadim in one team against Yan Nepomniachtchi and Maxim Matlakov, and I think it's time to go back to the studio to Yasser Seravan.
Yep. Yep. Hello and welcome back. I was listening to the interview there. Nepo with his teammate Maxime and his trainer Maxime underway against, I think, the favorites in the tournament, Vadim and Levon. Vadim and Levon are on the bottom, Maxime and Nepo on the top. Always, as you see, the knight on e5 is always playing these vital roles in these attacks of attacking on the f7 square and knight g5 check and f7 on the board of Vadim, as he's looking to capture this pawn on e6 when knight takes e6, and that would be devastating. So that knight on g5 had to go, even at the cost of a piece I think that was the right sacrifice to make. Now, the big matchup is the one on our right as Levon with the black pieces. Levon with the black pieces against Nepo. And bishop came to c5, queen to e3, knight e4 check, takes. Now, again, a very different rules in European Bughouse as compared to the American Bughouse rules. You cannot put a piece on the board with checkmate. In American Bughouse rules, you can. In European Bughouse rules, you cannot. So that's an important rule to keep in mind. Another important rule difference is with promotions. If one team member promotes on the board, he can take off the promoted piece from the other side. A very, very different rule than what we're used to in American chess. And American Bughouse. Looks like Vadim is doing brilliantly. Queen on d1 takes d5, or even queen takes e4 check. And if he has a knight in his hand, he can put the knight back on f5. He played bishop g3, bishop d4. Ooh, big move. Knight g3 check. Forks king and queen. You can't take it because it's mate. You have to move your king. You have to play king g1. Then knight takes queen. Pawn takes knight. And white needs lots of pieces in his hand. Like something like queen to e6 check. He needs to be able to play that move ASAP if he's got a queen. Over on the other side, notice that you can't play as Levon knight to b2 because that would be check and mate. You can, however, play knight to f2 because that's not mate in one. You can go knight f2, bishop f2, knight f2, and wins. So it's crazy what's going on in these games right now. Very hard to predict the outcome. I see a lot of nervousness as the players are looking at the clocks, and the control of the clock and who has the initiative on the clock is so vital because you can stall and wait for your opponent to hand you material, but you cannot if you're way behind on the clock. Ooh, queen f1 is an awkward move. He had to give up his queen. Excellent not to take it with knight f2, but to play bishop e3. This looks really, really grim for Vadim. Very, very grim. Bishop g3. Okay, knight g4. Now Vadim just needs... Vadim just needs a rook so that he can go rook to g7 check and capture this knight that's attacking his queen. Rook f1. Ooh, he doesn't have any material. He needs, again, the rook to come to g7 or the rook to come to e6. No, it's this looking terrible for Vadim. Something like pawn to f2, h2 check here would be very, very strong. Ooh, this is looking really, really, really grim. Too much material for black. And Vadim is essentially mated, and Nepo, they just have to hang on. I don't know what the time situation is. Again, in Bughouse, it's very, very simple. Checkmate wins the game for one team. All you have to do is score 1 point on one board, a victory on one board. Any flag that falls, that team loses the game on time. Any illegal move loses the game. Illegal move is defined as having made the move and it's completed when you press your clock. My goodness, the game on the right is a complete mess. I think it's all about the clock at this point. All black has to do is survive, I suppose, on the game on our lower right. If black survives, the team will win on time. So I don't think that this move, knight takes b7 check, is such a big deal. You can maybe just take the queen on a1 there, but in our game with Vadim, oh yeah, you just all kinds of easy ways now for black to win. Check, bishop e3 check, bishop f2, bishop takes f2. Should be simple chess now. Rook to b8, rook e6. Okay, somehow Vadim just managed to get some initiative. I don't know if it's serious or not. g7, rook, g8 quickly was played. But now it's something like pawn to e3 check. What? Okay, things just got complicated again because of the promotion. Uh-oh, somebody offered a hand. What happened? Somebody offered it might, oh my goodness, it might be illegal move. Let's jump over to Anastasia to ask what happened. I'm confused.
Nobody understood anything at the end.
Well, actually, we just took a queen from this board, and then this board it's made.
Ah, yes. So who declared the victory?
Me.
You. So, Vadim, how was it? I mean, normally we play in the different conditions. Now it's a tournament. Like, is a different feeling?
You see, there is a mate on the board, so it's actually mate. It's a different feeling because it's a new kind of chess variation. Yeah, and I hope everybody likes it. I mean, the most of us are liking it. Yeah.
Yes. Now Jan, I think, is really not happy. But why? What do you think, Levon?
So before the starting, I was told that we are allowed to suggest moves.
Absolutely.
So I suggested a move for Vadim to promote to queen.
Yes. And it was actually a very smart move. At the end, you won the match, right?
Yes.
Okay. Not everybody takes it easy, right?
Of course, we're all competitive.
Exactly, yes. So thank you so much. We are ready to start the next round. Let's check what the others are thinking about this game. So I think people could witness. Yes, I'm still here. And where is Anish? Anish, let's speak with Anish. Anish. Sorry, can I talk to you for a second? Yes, I think you were very emotional during this round. What do you think happened in the end, and what feelings?
I have a suspicion this game, the last game, was for very low quality. I have a feeling it was swinging back and forth. I think both sides missed many wins, because sometimes you can just wait also, but they were running out of patience. So I think it was it was very imbalanced, very very strange game.
If we want to do this again next year, we gotta let Vadim and Levon win in.
Immediately, yes, of course. Do you know what are you playing for in this tournament?
I think it's pride mainly. It's mainly pride in my case. Yeah.
But also we have a very nice cup, 2 cups actually, because we have 2 players in one team. So don't forget about it. Yes, who is playing? We will show them. It's with Yasser right now. Yes, yes. So now we can come back to Yasser, but before that, let me once again declare that Levon and Vadim won this game, this match against Yanni Pomnishi and Maxim Matlakov, because I heard Yasser probably didn't get it in the end. What happened? So they managed to give a checkmate. Yasser, we go back to you.
Well, welcome back. And unfortunately for me, I'm as confused as you are. I have the impression that there was an illegal move, but I was really not 100% sure there, because it looked like Nepo and Maxime were about to win. And here we're going to start the next match as the teams there. It looks like Andre and Notebrück are teammates, and it looks like Vincent, is he with Duda? Hard to tell just from that camera angle as the games are underway. And this is a big attack suddenly for white in the French defense looking game on the board. Whoa, knight h4 check was a bad move because of queen takes h4, but black immediately responded by moving his king, and now queen h5, and it's absolutely game over in the game on the lower left. Now all white needs is for his teammate not to get mated, but this move h7 h6 is really a nasty move. Now if black had a knight, he could go knight e2 check and capture the queen. As it is, he had to play pawn to g6 and allow h takes g7. So we have two games where it's obvious that victory is in sight for the players. This game where you just have this massive attack on f7 that looks like a killing game. And also there's even bishop a3 check. Yes, bishop a3 check, and bishop takes e8. Bishop takes e8 right here, right now, should be completely winning for white. I would imagine it to be the case. Vincent's playing very, very fast, and black is dreaming of having a knight that he can stick on e2. Ooh, pawn to v2. Remember, promotions, when you promote, like queen takes a2, and you promote the pawn, you get to take something off on the other board. Ooh, rook f7. That's terrible. That's checkmate coming up in that game. Black can't take the rook because queen on h5 takes f2. That's checkmate. And white is barely hanging on the game on the top right there. You just promote the pawn to a queen? Isn't that just killing? Okay, queen a1, also a very, very strong move. Maybe even stronger than what I've suggested. And yeah, it looks like the players have recognized that it's over. That both players were losing. There was mate on f7 and queen a1. It's kind of like a killer along the back line. I think it's time to go over to Anastasia and ask her to tell us what the players are thinking.
Yes? Okay, we have to come back now. Да. Я уже в эфире. Okay, so here we are back to the playing venue. The game was just finished. So now you should explain who won, what happened.
We won the match. Yeah, and what else to say?
But explain the position. So now it's rook is on f7 and there is no...
Yeah, he has to take it, and then I take with the queen, and it's mate, yeah.
It's mate, yes. And on the other board, no chances on the other board?
I mean, you know, get the mating, like putting the piece on h6, I could mate, but yeah, it's not allowed, so I have no chance of mating. And, yeah.
Yesterday I saw that you were preparing a lot, actually. So what was the score yesterday and what's happening today? Is it different?
We crushed them easily, yeah. So we were quite confident when we played against them.
So now, how do you feel after you heard it, young Krzysztof? Is it time to do something about it?
I didn't play that much yesterday, so yeah, I think I just got bluffed in this game. Yeah, I mean, French defense is cool enough, but if I don't take 3 pieces and then get checkmated because I didn't take that pieces, then I mean it's shame on me.
I know what you mean. Andrei all the time was telling me that he's winning in every position, and it was not the case actually at the end of the day. Yes. So, do you have any special openings for Bughouse chess?
Not really. I mean, I'm experimenting with that, but I have no idea.
Andrei?
Yeah, I have some preparation for this tournament. Yeah.
So, what is the most important about Bughouse? How do you need to play? What is really key?
You don't have to play French, I think. This is.
What are you talking about? It's my main opening. I play 6 against Bishop c4.
Yeah, but it gives so much space and weak squares, and it gives space in the king side. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for advice. I thought it's the best opening. Now I will change my mind. So, how do you need to play? What is the strategy for black?
Yeah, you can sacrifice early on and play for quick development. I think this better idea.
Thank you so much. Let's see what will happen next and the next round. Thank you. So now we are going back to the studio to Yasser. I think it's time we will have the next match very coming very soon.
Enjoyed the interview with the players. It's a little bit slapdash over here, as like yourselves, I'm relying upon the cameras to tell us what's going on in the games, and not the PGN. I don't actually see all of the moves and the results. So we got to get a results page, as that looked like a pretty lopsided game to me. In the meanwhile, we now at least have a look at the 6 teams. I know there's going to be 8 teams, so we're going to have the upcoming team will be the final ones. We have Vadim and Levon, Anish and Gukesh, So and Prague, Nepo and Maxime, Andre and Nodeberg, Vincent and Duda thus far, as teams 7 and 8 take their seats for this, the first inaugural Bughouse event, WR Chess, and you're seeing it here for the first time. Needless to say, we're going to work out a lot of the kinks for this event as the games get started. And let's see who we got. I'm not even sure who these players are. These looks like some local players joining the action. And again, in Bughouse, it really is about king position. That just like completely overwhelms material considerations, and many times the F2 and F7 squares are the primary attacking squares. In this game you can just see that white has played knight e4, and black is just dreaming of playing knight takes F2 and or having a knight in his hand in order to make those kinds of devastating sacrifices. Bishop b4, not a big fan of that move. I didn't think that the bishop on c3 was very good. In the first game, I love this move, bishop b5 check, a lot, and I would, if I were white, I'd love to have a, ooh, he played pawn to d6. I'd love to take a pawn in the hand and place it on the e6 square after playing bishop b5. Knight f5 looks menacing, but bishop f8 should shore up the dark squares for now. Knight takes d6, bishop takes d6. I think there's a pawn on e5. Yeah, it magically appeared and disappeared. And there you go. In the game on the right, sacrifice on f2 was made, but you really need to be able to follow it up. At the moment, white's king on e2 looks like it's swimming, but it's perfectly fine on the e2 square. Bishop goes back to f8 in the first game. h6, also very nice. Common idea is to infest the g7 square. So something like knight takes h6, bishop on c1 takes h6. Now if you have a knight, you can place it on g7, but probably more effective is to put a pawn. If I'm white, I would like to put a pawn on the g7 square. Bishop c4, very good move. Attacks f7. But if I'm black, I would like to put a pawn on the e6 square to block that bishop on c4. So far, I mean, it just doesn't seem to me like black has been putting a lot of pieces down in the game on the lower left compared to white, who's somehow seems to have a lot more pieces in hand. Okay, white on the game on the right has done a great job at shoring up his king. Somehow he's got his pawn on f2. Very, very nice. He can tuck his king away. King f1 would be my choice. Again, no, it's really about king safety. Rook takes h7. That was not going away, and I'm a little bit surprised that white went for that move. For example, if black now had a knight, could go knight f4 check, could put a rook on h1, and white could be in trouble. And if he had just put his king on f1, he would have been absolutely, absolutely safe. Uh-oh. Bishop g8 is an indication to me that, well, black has no material in his hand to stop white from sacrificing or attacking f7. That was quite the move. Knight h8. And bishop b5 check. Well, that's just kind of a shot in the dark. But it makes way for the king. King d7. You can start to get on your cycling shoes and run away. King d7, knight f4. And white has pawns on e6 and f7. How did he get that? A knight on f5 check would be devastating if white has a knight in hand. I don't know if that's the case, though. Also a very strong move for white in our game on the lower left is knight e4 check. Pardon me, knight e4 with the idea of f6 check. I got ahead of myself there. And again, the players will be playing 5 minutes per side, no increments, so that they can see who's ahead on the clock and not. With the pawn on f7, it's also very nice that you could get a knight and put it on the e8 square with check and induce the king to walk the plank to the g6 square. He's put his rook on g8, no choice. He has to trade rooks. Rook takes g8, I think, is absolutely forced. But then the rook will come on the other board, and I don't see why a rook trade should be that terrible for black. So it's like, well, let's jump over to Anastasia for further insights.
Here, thank you, Yasser. We are here at the playing hall, and actually, yes, I mean, nobody can understand what happened, but we know the answer, because what happened was an illegal move. Can you please give the explanation, like what's happening on the board and why this move is illegal?
Yeah, actually, my opponent just took a rook, staying on g8, and just took back the pawn and pressed the clock. But okay, this pawn has not been promoted yet, so it's not allowed to give away this pawn. So that's why I guess we won via illegal move, yeah.
So did you enjoy the first round? I mean, tell a little bit about yourself. I feel some, like you had really special training for this event.
Yeah, I tried to have, but I felt a bit under pressure because he did a very good job. Finally, I'm fine that we won, and hopefully there will be another win to go for the semifinals.
Jan, it's really nice to see you here, right? I mean, you're the director of the president of chess club of Düsseldorf, and it's very interesting. Let's say how did it go? Because I saw you were attacking at one point. I think you had really advantage in in your position.
Yeah, that's right. I was able to pry open his king side and put in some stuff, and then now I wanted to make him take my rook, and then I promote my pawn, and I can take a queen from there. And basically, I already made the second move together with the first one. It was just exaggerated, yeah. And then okay, that's not reasonable. I think we were in a good position to win this.
Yes, but good luck for the next rounds. I think it's going to be fun. Yes. Are you enjoying so far?
Yeah, very, very much. It's very much fun here to play. That Vadim, established this tournament. Great idea. Yeah, very much.
How does it feel to play together with top players of the world?
Yeah, it's actually exhausting. Yeah, who's playing here? So I really enjoy it just to be here, to watch these games, to have fun with those guys. That's really great. Thanks.
What about you? Are you enjoying?
Yes, very great tournament, the best tournament we had in Düsseldorf for ages, and thanks to Vadim, this was organized, and great games, great tournament, and this is a really special thing. This Bughouse event at the end, I think never has been played on such a high level, and it's we have 2 more rounds. I think we have some chance. We have seen that many other players play normal chess, and with Bughouse you need to play a totally different type of style. I hope we can make up for this loss again.
Thank you very much. So once again for our viewers, once again for Yasser, so it was a legal move, and we have this rule that if you have a legal move, you lose the game. So that's why Christian with Amir, they won this round. Thank you, and we are going back to the studio to Yasser for the next round.
And I think we're done with the interviews. I apologize, I don't know the 4 players who just played that particular match. They're unknown to me, so I apologize for that. But it looked like everybody is having a great deal of fun. Now, one of the rules I want to again emphasize the difference between the European Bughouse rules and the American Bughouse rules is when you promote a pawn on one of the boards, let's say you promote a pawn to a queen, you're permitted to reach over to the other board and remove the opponent's queen. So you can ask your partner, what is the piece that is disturbing you the most? And he might say, well, this knight on g6 is going to checkmate me, so promote the pawn to a knight, and then you can remove that knight on g6 that is disturbing your opponent. So this rule of promotion is very, very different than in the American rules. In the American rules, you promote a piece, you don't take anything off of the other board. So what that means is, let's say your partner's in checkmate. It's a partner's in checkmate to a queen. Well, I can rescue my partner by promoting my pawn to a queen and taking away the offending queen, so that game flares anew. So this rule of promotion, very important one as we get underway with yet another top matchup. This one I see it's Prague, Anduda, and Vincent and Wesley So are up against each other. Let's go to the games as I turn my attention to the first board on the top left. And again, I love the structure as white, where I have a bishop on g2, a pawn on h3, g3. I think the white king is remarkably safe under those types of circumstances. And there we see this pawn infesting on a g7. This is a very, very nice pawn. Now, if I'm white here, I'd like to put a knight on the g4 square. Oh, now it's very clear. I'd like to put the knight on the h6 square, put the knight on the h6 square, check, and then put a pawn on f6, and that's devastating. Black just perfectly got in the move knight f5 before knight went to h6, but then shockingly king h8. That was not a good move. That's a bad move by black. Now, again, if I'm white, I'm just dreaming of dropping a pawn on h6, followed by dropping a pawn on h6. So I'm just saying to my partner, give me pawns, give me pawns. The knight comes to g4, a move I mentioned. Any pawn goes to h6. Maybe even bishop on f4 to h6 here is such a good move to just create all of those dark square weaknesses around black's king. On the other game, okay, bishop e2, that's inspired. Essentially, yes, this, I want to say the knight jumping to f6, maybe that wasn't the best move, because first you could put the pawn on g7 and then put the knight on f6, and since it's not mate in one. Really, really looking good here for white on the screen on the bottom right. Knight e6, queen d3. I would take that rook on f8. I would want to get rid of that rook so I could put a rook on the back rank, like something like bishop takes f8 and rook to e8, or bishop takes f8 and pawn to e7. Those look like devastating ideas for white. It still looks incredibly good for white in the game on the upper right. Well, unfortunately for white in the game on the lower left board, he didn't get the pawns in time to really take advantage of the g7 square. He's getting closer and closer, but yeah, you know, anytime, yeah, there you go. Now we're talking. Now we've got the position we want. We can drop a knight on f6 because it's not checkmate. So knight to f6 looks really devastating, and also white looks like he's killing it over. So right now, both players with the white pieces are winning their matches, and those players are hoping that the players their teammates with the black pieces are somehow able to survive. Pawn to e7, devastating move there. Rook takes f6, knight takes f6. I'm kind of surprised that white didn't wait for a diagonal piece, bishop to g7 or pawn to g7 before just playing knight takes f6. Very, very often you're the person who wants to be on move. Pawn, bishop to e8. I apologize. Bishop to e8. Okay. For me, any rook, you go rook to f8 check here as white, and you're killing it. Still, white looks like that infestation on the dark squares in the first game on our top, first game on our left. You just play bishop takes g7. Why not bishop takes g7? You play pawn to e6. I presume if you take with the pawn, you have a knight, and you could put the knight on f7. That would force the queen capturing. Yes, he's done that. Now you could go knight to h6 check back, and that has to be completely devastating. No, he just took a rook on b8, hopefully to help his partner, but the partner is not doing well. Now you can white can promote in the game to a rook or a queen, and well, no, you can't take the rook or queen off. I'm looking. Wesley seems to have stripped Vincent bare of any of his pieces. Vincent is playing with a naked king. and Prague must have all the pieces in hand. Okay. So the only question is the clocks, and it's impossible for me to read the clocks. But the white player is dominating both games, and somebody is ahead on the clock. And I think Wesley is saying we should win this game on time. Certainly looks like Prague and Wesley are having more fun than their opponents. Queen to b3, surprising move going on there. And I think the team of Vincent and Duda are giving up on this match. Though again, it's very hard for me to tell. I really want to know what the results are of some of these matches, because I think in the first game that Vadim and Levon played, the very first game, I thought that Vadim was losing, but I think his opponent made an illegal move when he had pressed the clock. So that match turned on an illegal move. Players seem to be stalling. Something's going on. Let's jump over to Anastasia to get an insight.
So we are back to the playing hall, and actually it's a mess happening here. That's why the players were stuck, because they were waiting for the others to make a move. I think now Wesley Saw is threatening checkmate, and it's a big discussion here. Everybody is talking, and Anish Giri, Levon Aronian already speaking about everything. But please don't move the pieces. Wait. Okay, now they say it's resignable. Let's understand what's going on. Yes. Now Levon will wait.
It's a masterpiece of Wesley. I mean, Wesley with the bishop on g2 is unstoppable. Once you don't manage to stop him from putting the bishop on g2, you're in trouble.
Did you feel that you're in trouble? You were in trouble, Vincent?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, I made a few moves here. Like, I had no checks whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, I was not in time to put the pawn on h3, and then it was just like, yeah, I mean, getting mated, yeah. I mean, he had some attacks, but it didn't work out to win, and then, okay, I got crushed here because I didn't have the material.
Did you feel distracted by these guys who were giving advices left and right?
Not really, no.
Concentrated?
I hope.
That's why we always sit here, because Anish is on the other side. Then you can distract our opponent. We're doing good. But it's a big honor coming here. Good words coming from the legend Levon Aronian.
Absolutely. Masterpiece, do you agree?
Yeah, we got Prague here always playing black. I'm playing white. Life is good.
So this is your strategy.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Anything else? Any other tips?
What they have, Prague?
Except bishop g2.
No, my plan is simple, not to get mated. But here I was actually about to get mated, but luckily I didn't. So yeah, I'll just Wesley managed to mate. Yeah.
So are you improving, guys, step by step?
I mean, what to say? Yeah, we just got. I mean, I got mated, so can't really say that's improvement. But okay, we'll try, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, good luck. No worries. We will still have some matches to go. And so let's just make the conclusion. We have the winners of the round. Wesley So and Prague won against Vincent and Jan Krzysztof Duda. And we're having the next round very soon. Let's see who is going to play, right? Let's see who's going to play. And yes, I see Vadim Rosenstein, the main sponsor, organizer of the event, together with Levon. So they're getting ready. They're getting ready to the games. So whom are you playing against?
We're ready to play. And
against anyone.
Bring the whole world. We're ready.
Yes. Let's see. Yes, I think it's a local team, right? Local team is coming. Yes.
So it's now Vadim and Leon against
Jan
and Peter.
Yes, once again.
Vadim and Leon against Jan and Peter.
Great. So everybody's ready to start. We can see. And so we're going back to the studio, to Yasser, to analyze the games.
Hello and welcome back as we get ready and the games are underway. Again, the team that I think is the team to follow is Vadim and Levon. And they're up against a local German team. And I don't know the players' names, unfortunately, as we see Vadim with the white pieces, and he's got this pawn on e5, which often in these positions you want to play the move e5, e6, so that after f7 takes e6, you can attack with knight g5 and so on. Move queen e2. Okay, that was a little bit too safe for my taste. Bishop went back to d5, and it's nicely defending the pawn on f7. And even if you play rook to d1 and you try to play to c2, c4, black is perfectly safe. Bishop b4. Okay, when I see this move, if I'm white, I want a pawn in my hand so I can drop it on the h6 square. Ooh, very good move. Bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, knight to d4, queen e4. Now, if black has a pawn, or better still, a bishop, you drop it on the f5 square. He did get the pawn, and the idea is now to play knight takes e5. You give a pawn to your partner. Pawn on c2 is hanging. Queen on d3 is hanging, and white's in big trouble. Now, on the other match, black is in big trouble. The knight is dropped on f6. Oh my gosh. You're going to have to take that knight and then take with the queen. King e7. No, king e7 is a terrible move. Pawn to d6 and black is checkmated. You can't even ask your partner to rescue you because you can't promote a pawn to a pawn. So black is lost over on the right side of the board, and white is losing after queen takes d4 on the left side of the board. So it might be that Levon and company are going down here. Whoa. Let me see what's going on. I think it's a question of the clocks too. The games are kind of frozen as people are looking at the clocks, but I do believe that, as you see, game over. And that was fast. Let's go over to Anastasia.
So we are back to the playing hall, and I think the match is over already. So what happened? Why it was so quick?
It was a strategy we devised with Vadim. We're slowly starting to understand how we should play. And, the result, there you see the result.
Is it important when you play in the team to cheer up your opponent, to help?
It's the most important.
Do you feel the support of Levon?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable. But what I wanted to add is that with Peter we played this game 20 years ago, and now 20 years after we played this game here. And 20 years ago it was unbelievable, yeah, that we play with all the top grandmasters. So it's a very cool feeling.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, Peter, can you also speak about it? What are your feelings?
Honestly speaking, it's a great experience. As Vadim told, we played again in youth matches 20 years ago or something like that, and now we are playing here in that venue with the top guys of the world. So it's very great experience of a lifetime.
But you were together in one team at that times?
No, we are just in the same area, so shared the same tournaments and matched a lot there.
Is it some kind of special school of Bughouse in Düsseldorf? What's going on? Is it really popular here?
I guess it's a youth game, honestly speaking. It's loud and noisy and chaotic, so the problem here is we are getting out of theory in the third move or something like that, so that was the advantage for our competitors, I guess.
Yeah. That's great. Jan, do you keep playing Bughouse with kids in the club?
And no, we have not been playing this in the club. I played this also, basically same experience when I was young, and we were like on youth tournaments. We would do this in the evenings, and so I haven't done this for a long time. I did it first time again in November with Vadim and Vincent and Christian, and that was really a big memory. And you start out with playing normal moves, and then very quickly you learn again that you need to think totally different. Yeah, attacking, trying to give a piece, just drag out the king. It's a totally different type of scenario. And it's a lot of fun. It's great.
Absolutely, and I know that Levon is considered like the best Bughouse player in the world. Do you really agree with? Are you agree with this title?
It would not be humble if I wouldn't agree with it.
That's a great answer, actually. We also agree, but we will see what will happen next because you have to prove it. Yes, thank you very much, and I think we're ready for the next round. Once again, Vadim and Levon won this match against the local team, and we're looking forward for the next rounds. Yasser, back to you.
To Anastasia for those nice insights. So let me just repeat what our current format is. The 8 teams are broken down into a Division A and a Division B, if you will, and 4 teams in each division. They're playing round robins with each other, and the top 2 teams from each division are going to go and play in some playoffs and knockout formulas. It looks like Vadim and Levon, having won their first 2 matches, are going to qualify into the playoffs, and it looks like Wesley So and Prague are doing the same thing. We have these 2 teams, Jan and Peter, Christian and Amir, unknown players to me. My apologies to them for not being familiar with those players, but they are rounding out our field. At the moment, too, Andre and Nudebrek are making a great team as they sit down to play, it looks like, against the team of Anish and Gukesh. Now, Andre and Nudebrek won their match, their first match. If they win this, I think that secures them the playoffs as we get ready to get started for this next round. I see the players are just really enjoying themselves, the smiles and the laughter as the handshakes, and they're off. And you'll see these same kinds of patterns repeating themselves. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is black doing? E5, D5, bishop B5. No way can you get away with this stuff as black. Ooh, just bishop takes C6. He's done it. B takes C, and knight takes C6. And I think that, ooh, H6 is also a very, very good move. Bishop takes H6. Black's king is already destroyed on the game on our left. You take the pawn on G7 with alacrity. You put a pawn on G5, and black is not going to survive. Putting the bishop on G5 makes perfect sense as well. Either way, you're controlling the H6 square. You're attacking the knight on F6. Pawns seem to be a lot more disruptive, but bishop G5 is really good. Here you don't hesitate. You play knight takes F3 just to make sure that your king is absolutely secure. G takes f3, queen takes f3, you're hitting f6. Bishop takes f6, it's an indication to me that white has a knight in his hand, and he did, so that he could play the move knight h5. Now, I'm sorry to say, the move king takes f6. You just cannot play that in Bughouse. And again, knight, your king is too exposed. You know, knight takes f3, or if you have material in your hand so that you continue the attack, you go for it. But knight takes f3, e takes f3, rook e1 check, making sure that your own king is secure, because king safety is everything in Bughouse. But in any case, f5, if you have material in hand, that's beautiful. And king e7, yes, pawn to d6. Again, the material in hand. You can play bishop c5 check, because it's not mate. King to d5, then c3, c4. You can't put a pawn on the board with checkmate, but c3, c4 is mate. Let's quickly turn to the other side of the board. White has won that game. He's just hoping his partner with the black pieces can survive. And it's tough. It looks like white has every chance, if you will, of winning this game. Now, whether bishop takes, I don't think bishop takes f7 check unless you have a knight in hand. You need to go bishop f7 check and knight e5 to win the game. Unless you have a knight in hand, the bishop f7 check won't win. But with a knight, it would. Uh-oh. Players are settling down as... yes, and I think that won the game. Let's jump back to our colleague Anastasia in the playing hall.
Thank you, Yasser. Yes, we are back to the playing hall, and it's a mess. You know, players decided to analyze the position, so it's hard to understand what's happening. But Anish, don't leave. Please explain. Take the mic.
No, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood right now. I'm just. I mean,
what happened?
I think Gukesh is a great player. He was a great player yesterday. But last game I made a mistake. But this game I think he was defending very badly. I think he was not so lost. Somehow he got his king mated.
What happened to your king, Gukesh? What happened? Why Anish is so upset?
I think yesterday we were just playing weak players. Yeah.
Gukesh, get back your confidence. We were playing much better.
Come on, let's practice.
So, and on the board, Andrei, let's see what happened on the board. Yes, what is the final position?
Yes, this is the final position. It was on. Yeah, it was his final position, and queen here. Yeah, queen here, and yeah, I think it's just mate, and I played the last move here, bishop c5, and the only move here is king d5, and c4 is mate.
This was the moment. And what was on the other board? Could Anish still save the position, the game, or not?
Anish sacrificed a lot of material, and I just took Andrei to mate. Okay.
I just sacrificed one piece.
But it was enough.
No, it was not a problem. I mean, they have identical situation, Gukesh and this guy, but this guy defended better. He defended better.
I see. So it's all about defense, or what? I got it. Okay, thank you very much for explanation. So once again, we should announce that Andrei Isipenko and Nodirbek Abdusatorov, they won this match against very, very, very tough players, Gukesh and Anish Giri. Lots of trash talking, lots of talking around, but it didn't help them, Anish and Gukesh, to survive this game. So I think it's time to go back to Yasser. I hope Yasser understood everything what happened here. And we will have the next round very soon.
And back to me, as Andrei and Nodirbek have won, and I believe that secures their entry into the playoffs. Again, we've got 8 teams separated into 2 divisions of 4 teams each. 2 teams from each division qualify to the knockout. And I think, if I got this right, that really knocks Anish and Gukesh out. Last night, I was watching them play. In fact, I was victimized. I had Gusti Jan Gustafsson was my partner. We got killed by the combination of Anish and Gukesh. They really destroyed us. And I thought Anish and Gukesh were going to come in today and make noise. They have not, and I think they're out as far as the competition is concerned. Now, Nepo and Maxime, they're looking to try to qualify as well. And I do believe that Vadim and Levon, thanks to also going perfectly 2-0, have also qualified into our playoffs as we get ready for the looks like this is one of the teams of either Jan and Peter or Christian and Emir are facing off against Maxime and Nepo. And if Nepo and Maxime were to win this game, then they would qualify. As knight takes c3. Wow. Okay. So the team of Maxime and Nepo are playing at the top of the board, and whether it be Jan and Peter or Christian and Emir are playing on the bottom of the board. Oh, this is a fantastic defensive structure. I hate the move c7, c6. I hate that move for Nepo, but f7, g6, h6, g5, e7 protects the king. The problem with the move c6 is I can drop a pawn on c7, or equally as devastating, drop a knight on c7 thanks to this knight on d5. Now white is just waiting for something to come across, saying, teammate, please, please, please give me a pawn or a knight so I can drop that on the c7 square. Doesn't look like anything came over, so knight c3, and now black is perfectly safe. That single moment of vulnerability passed, and that's what happens in Bughouse. If you don't get the right combination of pawns or pieces at the right time, a very promising attack can simply, well, disappear. Knight to b4, trying to force white to make a decision about d5 takes c6 or not. Knight to g4. That is a surprising move. I would not have played under any circumstances, actually, the move h6, h5, because as far as I'm concerned, all that really does is weaken the h6 square. But the fighters are underway still. Takes on d5, pawn takes d5. Queen c7, again, that shows to me an unfamiliarity with the tactics that are so prevalent in Bughouse. Here as black, you put a pawn in your hand on the a3 square in order to weaken the c3 knight so that the bishop on g7 and the queen on c3 combine. So you go pawn in hand to a3 attacking the b2 pawn. He did it the wrong way. He went pawn in hand to h4. That bishop on g3 is not an issue. What you really wanted to do as black was play the pawn to a3 and crash through. Knight to b5. I want to say that white is wasting his knights. The knight on b5 is not that particularly beautiful. Then I was about to say the knight on e4 should be capturing the pawn on g5. A little late, he did it, and now we get h3. That is such a funny move, h3 in that position, because I was begging for a3 on the other side of the board. Crazy game. Now let's see on the other board what's going on. Ooh, once again we see this very vulnerable king on f7. Don't like it for black. It looks to me like white has a very clear initiative. Okay, this knight to h5 is trying to fight back, but queen h3 on the game on our right, queen f3 to h3 should be just fine. Knight takes g2. Again, black is trying to fight back, but king takes g2. Whoa. Now, I would not have guessed that move. f6 takes g7. You're attacking the rook on h8, but you're also giving up the rook on e1. Okay, black has some tempting choices there. Back to our game in top left. White has done a great job at breaking through the the defenses. And now it's mate. It's just mate. Rook takes g8, knight takes f7 check, king takes h7, knight to g5 is mate on the board. So this move, rook g8, was really winning. And I turned my eye, and it looked like black was doing well, but Nepo is now relying upon his partner. Come on, Maxine. You got to rescue the position. Funnily enough, there's no black king. Oh, there it was. It disappeared there. It was magic. At one moment it was on the board, then it was gone. And you cannot, in European Bughouse, put checkmate on the board. You can't play pawn or bishop to f7. Takes on e6. I'm not a fan of that move because you don't create really mating threats with this move. Uh-oh. Looks like the team of Maxine and Nepo are in big trouble at the moment. Except I will correct myself to just point out that the move I hadn't previously seen, rook on f6 takes f3, is available to make room for, you know, a piece to drop, if you will, on f6. Rook takes f3. Okay, so Maxine has kind of cleaned up his king a little bit, and he's hoping to put a pawn on f6 so he can go pawn to f7, or put a pawn on g7 so he can go rook to f8 mate. Again, you can't put a piece on with mate, but if you have a piece on the board, like if white had, for example, in this position a knight on e4, he could go knight e4 to f6 mate. You just can't take the knight in your hand and put it on mate in one. Rook f8. No. He's thinking queen takes f8, pawn to f7 check. That's not mates. You can go queen takes f7 in that case. So that's why he put his rook on f8. He couldn't play rook to g7 because that would have been mate, and you can't put a piece on with mate. Oh, very, very, very exciting. And somebody's offering their hands. So Nepo, I think, got rescued by his partner. I believe Maxine won the game for his team. And yeah, well, Nepo would not be shaking Maxine's hand if it wasn't a victory. We'll be going over to Anastasia soon to make sure we have the right insights in this game. If so, Nepo and Maxine will go, I believe, into the playoffs.
So thank you, Yasser. Yes, we're back to the playing hall, and actually lots of things happened here. I think there were some tricks from the team of Nepo and Max. Jan, you're so excited. I can hear that. Can you please explain for the audience what happened just right now? Yes?
Maxim is playing great. Maxim is playing great. Me not. Yeah, I'm just. Maxim is a very selfish player.
Yes.
So I ask him to stop giving material. He doesn't listen, so he gives material. So I lose.
Yes. But then I think you won the match.
It was a bluff, but yeah, I didn't. It wasn't supposed to work, but it worked.
Yes. So explain to the audience what actually worked, and.
We announced it's mate in 2, but it's not mate because the rook on f3 is pinned.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
actually black could just take the queen and rook cannot move. Yes.
Yeah.
But
they don't have any material.
Have material.
So what do you think? How do you feel now that they tricked you this way? These top players, huh?
Yeah. That's usually you get to hear. You should hear of stronger players, but in this case, maybe it's a mistake. But we're quite happy what we showed actually up. Okay, now we lost, so still one round to go. But yeah, in fact, of course, it's a bit
Really winning position, yes, against Jan.
Yeah, I had a winning position. He is now mated in one move, so I was fine with myself. Ami defended very, very well, actually. It was also near to mate, but we were not sure what's really the best move because it was a difficult position for a king. But yeah, it's a pity, but it's fine.
Yes, are you shocked? Are you shocked?
Very shocked, because I just believe in everyone.
Yes.
They told me it's lost, so I just give up.
So these players, they're also good in convincing people, right? Yeah, so... Maxim, one question for you. So your emotions, like how is it to play with Jan, first of all, who was blaming you for everything?
No, for sure, I'm not a good partner in Bughouse. And at some moment, I think I had a million opportunities to put mate. And actually, yes, in the end, it was a good bluff. And sorry for our opponents.
So what do you think about Düsseldorf Bughouse School?
It's hard to evaluate for me because I'm a complete patzer in Bughouse. So, yeah. Okay, quite good. Quite good.
Thank you very much for this game. I mean, it was really cool. And actually, I would like to speak with one more person, if we can move a little bit the camera. Boris, 1 second. Can I ask you one question? Yes. So Boris Gelfand is here with us. He is the guest in our tournament. He also made a mini camp with kids during this event. But Boris, let's say we are here for one of the strongest Bughouse tournaments in the world, and I know that you learned also how to play Bughouse recently. So what do you think about this game and the whole concept?
I don't know. I know it's very popular, but by chance I played only once in my life. And here, okay, in the evening, I got some experience. Okay, but I will follow and enjoy how big guys are playing.
Why do you think they enjoy it so much? Sometimes you don't see normally chess players laughing like that and expressing so many emotions. What is the key about this game?
Maybe I think it's unpredictability, total unpredictability, because there are definitely more pieces taking part in each game, and it gives a lot of,
like opportunities, right?
Opportunities, but also, you have to defend against more threats, also, but you can also create more possibilities in attack, yeah.
Are you going to participate in the next championship after some special training?
I guess so. I will prepare. I will play, yeah, okay. I played some games, okay. I did decently, but not good enough yet, yeah?
Yes, thank you, Boris. And literally was pleasure to play with you Bughouse a few times. Yes, I will never forget this experience. Thank you very much for your comments. And actually, we have already completed, I think, the round-robin tournament. Yes, so 2 rounds. Yes, 2 rounds at the moment. So maybe the chief arbiter can update us with news, like with the standings, like what's going on now. Who has qualified?
So in Group A, it's already clear. So Wesley and Prague, as well as Nodebek and Andre, have won 2 out of 2. The other both have lost both games, so here's already clear that these 2 teams will reach the final. In the other group, it's not that clear. Vadim and Levon are leading with 2 wins, but then we have Christian and Damir, and as well as Ian and Maxime with 1 win each. So the final round will decide, and we can also have a tight result, so that we have to do drawing of lots for finding the semi-finalists.
Thank you very much for the updates. Now we know who is leading in both groups, and right now we're going back to Yasser, to the studio.
Stasia, nice insights, and it's always wonderful if you can bluff your opponents. So apparently Nepo and Maxime have won the game in this beautiful way, where there was a rook on f3 that was pinned to the king on h1, and he put a rook on f8, anticipating that the rook would be captured and it wouldn't be mate in 1. He would recapture with the rook, and Nepo and Maxime made such a convincing argument that it was checkmate that their opponents resigned. Later they pointed out that rook takes f8 was perfectly playable, and in fact the only legal move, and maybe their team would have been winning. Anyway, Nepo blamed Maxime for giving away so much material that he got checkmated. Somehow, despite all of their protestations, they won the game. So that was really quite the mixed up match there that was taking place. And I must say, I think it would be very awkward to be the teammate of Nepo, because Nepo is like one of these players who says to you, okay, don't do anything, I will win, But you can't just sit on your hands in Bughouse. You don't want to fall behind on the clock, so you make some innocuous move like, I don't know, castles, and Nepo is on your case. He's like, why did you move? I told you to sit still. We're getting closer and closer to the point where two teams from each division are going to be qualifying for the playoffs. So I think this match or the next match will determine which two teams from each division. There are two divisions that go forward. 8 teams, four players in each division as we get ready for the match between Duda and Vincent. They are taking on, it looks like, Anish and Gukesh. I'm not quite sure from this camera angle. I see Anish. I don't see Gukesh at the moment. And again, Anish and Gukesh were two of the players. Well, they were a team that I was really certain were making it into the playoffs. I believe they are out of the playoffs, and I'm not 100% sure that is the case. It might be the case, as I'm looking at these notes I have, that Vincent and Duda also playing poorly at the moment. It could entirely be possible that the winner of this match is in the playoffs. We'll see. We'll get a confirmation of that after the match is over and they are off. Gukesh with the white pieces has just played, well, takes on d5. It's kind of like a Scandinavian. It's not a Scandinavian, of course, with Bughouse. This is one of those things that Duda got the pawn just at the right time, so he could play pawn to e4 before Gukesh could get a knight and put it on c3 or e3. And the timing is so important in these games. Timing. Now, Gukesh, I think, very quickly played, well, very hard to say. Yeah, then, oh, pardon me. This knight on b7. Holy smokes, how did that knight get to b7? That's a very scary. Wow. Uh-oh. Knight to d6 check looks really, really bad for black. Bishop takes f6, and because the b7 square is so weak, you put a piece and or a pawn on b7. You're hitting the rook, you're hitting the knight, you're hitting the pawn on c6. That's a triple whammy, if you will, a terrible threat. Bishop takes c6 check. I guess his idea is he's got a bishop in hand. He was ready to play bishop to b5, and now he's got a knight that could come to d5. This is just a killing situation. Black is in really desperate straits after this move. Bishop to g5, bishop to g7, completely killing move. Gukesh is destroying Duda. Now in the other game, black is getting killed there too. There's a king on d7, and you've heard me harp on this time and time again. Whoa! King, I was about to say king safety, but Anish or Vincent overlooked knight f3 check. Now there's a pause because you want to play pawn to g2 check. You want to be able to capture the queen on h4 with a check. Uh-oh. Not quite sure what's happening over here. I know that Duda's getting killed. Uh-oh, he has played a move, knight e6. Rook takes e6 means you can take something, you can promote and take something off the board. Like you could take the black queen off the board by promoting the white pawn to a queen, for example. So this oftentimes happens in Bughouse, where it's like you've got these games that are going on, but they're incredibly lopsided. Both players are mauling their opponents, if you will. And yeah, it looks like. Hold on, something's gone on with Anish and Vincent. Anish is very emphatic that something great is going on, and maybe the game is turning because there is a knight f3 check sighting that maybe is going on. Gukesh is completely winning, waiting, and the game is over. The match is over. I think Gukesh and Anish won the game. I believe it was a time, like one of the when you're ahead on time. But let's jump over to well, not quite yet. I just wanted to say that I think the time was the crucial factor in that game, that they could stall and say, hey, look, you know, we're ahead, you can't make a move, and we're going to stall and wait for the flag, and then the players resign. So I just got a confirmation. But let's jump over to Anastasia and some insights.
So we are back to the playing venue. You removed everything what was on the boards.
They were ashamed of what was there, and they just removed it.
Oh, come on.
We let them because it was indeed very shameful.
Why it was very shameful?
I mean, they were like mated with such a huge margin. Like he was getting checkmated, and I had like 8 pieces. He was getting checkmated, and he had like 8 pieces as well. They were totally destroyed. Totally.
Oh. That's a moment of joy, yes, for you, Anish?
Yeah, when I see, you know, pain in the eyes of Vincent and young Christoph, that's when I'm happy, yes.
Do they need to improve their skills? Because, you know, it's another Bughouse event can be organized.
I don't know, I think sometimes you just need some talent, and if you don't have any...
Okay, guys, please defend yourself. I mean, okay, tell something.
I don't think I was going to be checkmated soon. I could withstand for some time. That's why he reasonably stopped. I mean, so.
2 knights, 2 bishops.
But I could, you know, postpone for 20 seconds. And yeah, I mean, in general, this game sucks when you are low on boards and lower on time on boards. Then yeah, it can be worse, I think.
Do you think it was a matter of preparation? Because I've seen these guys, they were playing quite a lot.
No, it's not a preparation. I think it's just that, you know, we blundered some stuff in the opening and then it's just even lost. Yeah, we were starting with, I don't know, like 1 queen and 2 rooks down or something, and then it's not really going well, yeah?
Yes. Okay, this is all about it, yes. Like, pieces are flying from the board, on the board. Thank you so much, and I think we are ready to go for the next round. I don't recall who is playing right now, but so we go back to Yasser, probably has his schedule.
Yep. Hello and welcome back to our live coverage of what's been a very fun and amusing Bughouse event, our first in the history of chess, especially on this level. It seems to me that Anish is really having some trash-talking skills. I mean, he's right up there with Levon Aronian, and I remember in one of these ultimate moves where Anish and Levon were very, very well practiced. But nonetheless, Anish and Gukesh did take down the team of Duda and Vincent there, and quite convincingly. I mean, sometimes when you're trash talking and you can back it up with victories, well, that's what we just saw there. And it was one of those games where it looked like both black players were essentially getting crushed. Duda was getting destroyed even worse. And so it was a question of who was ahead on the clock, and in this particular case, Anish was ahead on the clock, so that it meant that both players were going to stall, and one of the teams was going to win on time, so the teams resigned. As we get ready for Maxime and Nepo going up against one of the local teams, whether it be Jan and Peter or Christian and Amir, I'm not really too sure. My apologies to the local German players for that, as the games are underway. And I love this move. It looks so counterintuitive by black, Maxime, knight f6. But the idea is you give up a knight for this very, very good pawn on f6, which is a crucial defensive pawn. I'm referring to the board on the lower right. Knight f6, sacrificing a knight. He takes it. You take with the e-pawn. It helps your development. You get this incredibly safe king. Yes, I give up a knight, but a pawn can oftentimes be worth a minor piece in Bughouse, and it's a question of initiative. Now, over in our first game, we see a devastating position for white, because the rook on g7 is terrible, and there has to be a pawn there. I would have personally played bishop on b5 takes d7, but I love this move, bishop f6 as well. You're hitting the queen on d8. You're hitting the rook on g7. I mean, it's devastating. The black is destroyed. Nothing to say. The rook on g7 is hanging. The white can plant a pawn on e7, so that game is lost now. In the other game of Maxine, you see again these pawns on f6, f7, h6, h7, protecting the king. It looks great if you ask me. Bishop on c8 takes f5. Why doesn't he play bishop on c8 takes f5? I don't know. Likely just missed it. So bishop takes g6, f7 takes g6, h7 takes g6. In both cases, I think black's king is absolutely fine. Bishop takes h6. Not really too sure what that's about. Bishop takes h2 check, followed by, I don't know, knight takes h6. Maybe you put a pawn on f3. But knight takes h6 certainly has my vote. No question about it. It's a good bishop that was tickling my king side. Rook to h4. Okay. Trades. And again, if I'm black, yes, I like that move. No, I would probably have preferred to put my pawn on f3 and go through a light square infestation. Again, this move bishop d4 I think is naive. Your opponent's not going to allow you to capture on f2, and he wasted time with bishop to d4 and bishop back to e5. The move f5, I feel it's like more of a kind of a defensive move. Obviously, he did have this intention, which was to bring his queen over to the h5 square so that you can checkmate on h2. White needs a pawn. He needs to play pawn in hand to h3 to protect the mate on h2. Also, a knight on f3 in hand. And if you had a knight in hand, you could go to f3. But I think it's really vital that white get a pawn on h3. In the other game, oh, full disaster. It's dead. It's dead. Black's king is in checkmate. It's not checkmate because you can still interpose on g8 and f8, but that's dead. And Nepo has won that position, and Maxine just needs to, well, not lose, and it looks like he has every intention of winning as well. I think we're going to be going to Anastasia very shortly because it looks like the game has finished. Let's jump to Anastasia in playing hall.
And here we are. Here we are in the playing hall, and we have one more result. Maxime and Jan just won the game. And what actually happened? I think you were dominating in both boards, which never happened before.
Yes. It's the first experience when we really dominated. But thanks to Andrei for good advice in the opening. And
what did he tell you?
To play some normal opening, like without a piece, but with safe king. It's I understand that this is the most important thing in Bughouse. So yes.
So you feel you're improving?
Yeah, I guess. So our shape becoming more better and better.
I see. And Jan, what about you? I think you were the first one who delivered checkmate on the board.
Occasionally.
So what happened in the game? How did it feel to play with local players?
Quite challenging, but it's even more challenging to play in team with Maxim. Yeah. So I'm pretty much used to like any sort of difficulties.
How do you actually stand with these guys for so long? You also help him to win the tournament.
I think I'm quite patient guy, so yeah, I think that's the secret.
I see. That's a very important quality for any trader and any second. Now we know the secret of success. So your comments, how was it to play against such a strong team?
Difficult. He chose the Scandinavian Open, so E4, D5, and then I didn't know exactly how to proceed. I think it was reasonable for some time. I even did get some chances on his king side, so he had to move his pawns there. But also he was on a strong attack, so after my castling, that was very difficult, and he could take a pawn here. Yeah, and then in the end, after my teammate was already standing on mate, it was getting more difficult, and he also then now delivered mate to me.
So you see, your novelty actually worked very well. It seems like.
I mixed up. I had to play knight f6 immediately after f5.
For Maxim, every move is a novelty. Like it's don't overestimate Maxim. Every move he sees is a novelty. Yeah, so like
second move, and it's completely new area for me.
Yes. Yeah. You know, it's Bughouse chess. It's all about novelties. So last comment.
It's an honor for us that they need advices from outside. Otherwise, this match would be totally different. So,
absolutely, thank you so much for your great comments, and we're back to Yasser very soon. But before that, I think it's time to ask also what will be the next round. Let's go to our chief arbiter. Who is playing in the next round? Please tell us.
Okay, the next round is Wesley and Prag against Nodiabek and Andre, and they're playing for the first place in this group.
So it's very, very important match, right?
It determines who plays against the second of the other group or against the first of the other group. So
we will see what will happen in this match. Very strong players are going to play. We will have lots of fun. And time to go back to Yasser, to the studio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Bughouse WR Chess Masters Bughouse event. I think we're really on the cusp of announcing the playoffs teams, and I just heard some trash talking. Okay, Maxime and Nepo, I accept it. But from the commentators, Anastasia was throwing some patties there as we have the game between Andre and Nodebek versus Wesley So and Prague. And I think that this is actually a marquee matchup when you consider that the teams that both teams have been very successful. Rook G1. Okay, that to my mind is a completely wasted move by White in that specific position. It was much better, in my opinion, that he play the move Bishop D2 and or C2, C3 to get rid of that knight. And White, no, is in trouble. And again, why is White in trouble? Well, look at the rook on G1. You're supposed to seek king safety. With the rook on G1, you can't castle, and we're seeing what White has had to do. He has had to play very artificially, castling by hand. King F2, King G1, but he has successfully done it. So tip of the hat there for just a moment that he has successfully got his king all the way to G1. And White is fighting back. Again, because his king is so remarkably safe, I would prefer to have White's position at the moment. And Andre has just played bishop c5, traded bishop. This knight on b5 is actually not important to the attack. And again, think in terms of focusing and concentrating on the king side. The move bishop c5 is okay, especially after the blunder queen c7. Because that just provoked the move bishop to d6. Now the problem is when White plays bishop takes f8, rook takes f8, bishop takes f8, Black's back rank is going to be perpetually weak the whole game. So capture those rooks, get them off the board, and then you can play rook to h8 check or rook to a8 check yourself, and black's king is going to be caught in a very nasty vice on the back rank. Now, isn't there a rook on f8? If there's not, there's a queen hanging on a3. Oh my gosh, I'm just completely lost track of what pieces. Black seems to have just like given white his entire army, if I can put it that way, because any rook check on the back rank is going to, rook e8 check followed by rook f8 is going to make black's king walk the plank. And I think that's completely winning for white. Now in the other game, oh my gosh, knights galore, I would say. Pawn to c6, something like rook, well, I was about to say something like knight to d3 and knight to f4 check, which has been played, is on white's agenda. Is it enough? I mean, both kings are getting mauled, and you cannot play the pawn to e2 again and again. Now here, if I'm white, I would be tempted to put the pawn on d3 prior to playing the knight to e2 with check. The reason is then you want to play knight e2 check and take the queen with check. Pawn to d3, what else? What else are you going to do? Maybe taking the rook. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turning our attention back over to the first game on our left. White, again, is just absolutely killing it. He just needs, additional pawns and pieces. Okay, finally a rook came to the back rank. Check. I think there's a rook on e7 that's not been, and there you go. This is what happens when you lose both your rooks. You get attacked on the back rank. Ooh, pawn to d7. So there was a rook on e7. It had momentarily kind of disappeared into the ether there. Very interested onlooker Vadim. Oh, rook takes g7. That's devastating. Oh. Okay. Now again, I don't know what pieces are in hand, but rook takes e8 check. You should be able to checkmate with just anything in hand because the two rooks are devastating. And here we go. Now, what you need, white always has this kind of perpetual check. Okay, some moves, but okay. And white is checkmating in the other game, so that's frozen. So white must win. Oh boy, white must win the game. I don't know what's going on. Oh no, white blundered. And if he has to make a draw, oh, it's crazy. I mean, I've lost track. It's about the clocks of the players as well. So if you can promote, and for example, if take away the pawn, the queen on a6 with a promotion, that would be very nice. Oh, Andre dropped everything, knocked all the pieces over. It is your responsibility to make sure that the pieces are on the squares on their correct squares after you pressed your clock. You can't have a piece prostate. Oh, queen a6 and queen takes a7 is checkmate. And Wesley and Prague may have lost. It's about the clocks. And our colleague Anastasia is going to tell us. We'll go to the playing hall. Anastasia.
So finally we're at the playing hall. You can see so many emotions, like everybody's discussing right now. But okay, I don't know from whom to start. Wesley, please, it's your turn. What happened in this fantastic game?
No, but I can maybe made even.
No, it was very close. I better practice, yeah.
No, it's just a disappointing way to end the game. But we'll get a chance in the finals maybe. For a revenge.
At the end, I think what happened. I mean here. So why it's not a checkmate?
No, because he has bishop and the rook, so he can block it. Rook g.
Yeah, I was very lucky. Yeah, I didn't have enough material to mate. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, actually the game just finished only now, you know? I mean, while we were talking, this is what happened. Yes, so the clock. Yeah, Levon, your comments. I heard you said a few times, so talented, so great. I mean, whom you were referring to?
All of them. This is a brilliant matchup. This is a brilliant matchup, and I'm sure we will see these guys in the future on the Bughouse scene.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, we got the Fast and Furious team here, yeah.
Vadim and Levon.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so we will be second, yeah? So we have to play. No, we will be first, yeah? So first and second, I think. How do you know?
Yes. Yes. So now we are trying to find out actually who is winning. So what is happening? Who is playing?
Vadim and Levon against Christian and Amir.
Okay, so it's a final round, yes?
It's the final round of the Group B, and if Christian and Amir will win, we have a tied final with three teams, same points, same Sonneborn, and then we have to draw the lots.
Wow, it's going to be a very interesting fight, yes, right now. So we'll see what will happen, and then we will come back for the final results. And for now, we go back to Yasser.
As we see Levon and Vadim playing, I'm guessing that it's going to be the last round before the playoffs, and they're playing a local German team. Vadim and Levon are in the playoffs by virtue of having won their first two games, and so they took care of business. And they're going to be curious as to who their rivals are going to be. Now, whoa. Some very strange moves just happened there. Vadim was doing really well, but allowing queen takes b2 and queen takes d4, I don't think that was really what white should have allowed. Now, bishop c3 to protect the knight on e5 looks necessary going into the other game. The French defenses in Bughouse simply are not good. If you look at the different French defenses that we've seen, this is a disaster for Black. He's terrible on the queen side, terrible in the center, and terrible in the king side. But besides that, he's got nothing to play for either, as no activity. And white is just going to put a pawn on f6 one day. And or a pawn on b7 too, by the way, or even a bishop on b7 and a pawn on c6, and it's just going to be lights out. Here, there's the sole counterplay is queen takes c3 check, but that can be met by knight e2, or more concretely, you put a pawn on f6, you meet queen takes c3 with a bishop coming to d2. So that looks terrible for Black, very good for white. And in the game of Vadim, f7. King went to d8. Now, if you had a queen in hand, you could put it on the e8 square. Bishop takes e8, rook to d8 is mate. So a major piece mates, but you can't put the major piece on d8 because that would be mate in 1. If you put it on e8, it will be mate in 2. So I'm expecting that. Well, wait a minute. Black has just played knight to c2 check and knight to a3. Some strange things going on there. I'm a bit confused as to what we just saw. Rook takes d7. What a very strange sequence we have just witnessed. Why would you play rook takes d7? In any case, we are where we are. White needs a knight oh boy, white is really messing this up as black's king somehow has found its footing, and white's king is the one suddenly under duress. White really messed this up. Bishop e2, rook takes a8, bishop g5 check. Well, sometimes you just got to get on your walking shoes and run. In this case, king to c7. White desperately needs a knight that he can put on the d5 square. Oh, I'm not a fan of the move bishop e3 check. Ooh! Those knights, those crazy hoppers. Knight takes e3 check. Knight c4. Don't see the mate quite yet, but knight c4 check, followed by knight b4 check. Whoa, 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 whoa. And if you don't see anything really, really concretely, you ask your partner, what do you need? Do you need bishops or knights? And you help your partner. In this case, I'm thinking if I'm black, maybe a move like rook to d8 just to protect the d7 square. I'm making myself vulnerable to knight e6 check, I know, but I'm covering d7, I'm covering d5. So maybe rook to d8 here. I don't know what the material in hand is like. Otherwise, I might try to exhaust the material of my opponents by playing bishop to h6 check, so they have to block with something on the diagonal. White, wow. White put a knight on b7. I'm not exactly sure what a knight is. A bishop, a queen, a pawn, I understand. He's going after the d8 queen, but okay, that's not to my taste. But knight on b7, hitting a queen. Queen on c3 is also under attack. A lot of stalling going on at the moment. I'm thinking that some players are waiting for material, and it's not coming. And there you have finally a move. Knight d3 check. I think king f1 in that position was probably the simplest. You just sidestep, if you will. Oh my gosh, Vadim really blundered. He blundered the queen, and he's blundered a rook. Yeah, knight d3 check caught him by surprise, and he wasn't ready to play king f1. That was the simplest. And now black is right back with this pawn on c2. He's threatening to put a queen on d1. It's not mate, because you have rook takes, but it will be mate in 2. So now Vadim is in real trouble. And what's happening with Levon? We could be witnessing an upset. Levon looks like he's got a good position as black, but Vadim has got to survive what looks to be a very dangerous situation. If Vadim's opponent has a major piece, he could be lost. It's that simple. By the way, in Bughouse, you have to reveal what's in your hand. You can't sit there and hoard your pieces and say, I don't know what I'm holding. You got to be able to tell your opponent can ask you, do you have a queen? As that could be a checkmate, or do you have a knight? And you must play with open cards. Holy smokes! Levon has got the game. White's king is making a march, but it's not going anywhere. King e6 walks into queen g6, and it's made on the next turn. And something's going on. I think Levon and company were ready to shake hands, and not so fast, said Vadim. What is going on? Oh, queen e7. What? What is queen e7? Queen e7, he's expecting knight g7 perhaps? Okay, Levon is, so it's all about the clock and who's ahead on the clock. Next. And finally, there's a handshake, but truth be known, I'm not really too sure what's going on. Levon has checkmated his opponent. That's clear. So it must be that Levon has won. Levon and Vadim has won, and that will propel them into the playoffs. And very, very shortly, we're going to know who the 4 teams in the playoffs, and we will be going to our colleague, Women's Grandmaster Anastasia, in the playing hall.
We are back to the playing hall, and we just witnessed such a great fight between Vadim and Levon in Düsseldorf school. So, what are your impressions, Levon?
Oh, it was a tough fight, but I think since I had 3 extra knights by Vadim, who played very strategically, it was a big advantage for me, easy.
Yeah, I saw the king was marching all the boards. What happened to the king?
Well, yes, it's army of cavalry. It takes the infantry on the right, so
It's very important, yes, to make the king go, so you can find the checkmate on the board.
Absolutely.
And Vadim, what happened in your position? Why you didn't play for some time?
Well, I hope that Levon will win, and he won.
I promised and I delivered.
Yes. He made a good game, so he saved us. Yeah. But
It's very important to have still some hopes.
of course. And if I have Levon, I feel more confident.
So great. What about you guys? I think you tried your best and a very good position here on this board, right?
Yes, I think there were only 1 or 2 seconds up in time, and it was a very tough game. And maybe if I have more time, I would just promote a pawn, and it would be a little bit more difficult.
I see you have very good positions. It's already the 2nd time that you actually overplay your opponents.
Thank you very much.
But what do you need to improve the situation?
More mistakes of my opponents.
Or your partner.
Yes. So your impressions, though. I mean.
Yeah, for sure. It was great fun to play against Levon. He was the best Bughouse player in the world. So I was nearly to mate him, I would say. But the thing is, of course, there are 2 parts, and if I don't get one piece, then it's not nearly a mate. So I was never about to mate him any time. But then when he was just in his attack, I didn't have had any chance. In the end, I was very happy that Amir found a way to nearly promote the pawn, because this just brought us a little bit back into the game. But they were too strong, so they deserve to win in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations, guys. Yes, and have some rest. So now we have the result. Levon and Vadim, they won this match, very important match, and qualified, if I'm not mistaken. And so we are going back to the studio, to Yasser, for more details.
And there you have it, Levon receiving by Vadim 3 extra knights. It's like the march of the cavalry or something. They come in, these 3 extra knights, and that decided the game. And I think there's a slight pause. I'm not 100% sure there's going to be a slight pause, but I do believe we've reached playoffs. I'll get that confirmed in a moment. If there is a pause, we might take a short break just to stretch the legs, so to speak. And in any case, the playoffs will be upcoming. 4 of the top teams. I'm expecting that Vadim is in. I'm expecting that Nepo is in. I'm expecting that Andre and Nobidek and Nadeberek is in. And I suspect I'm missing a 4th. So for the moment, we're just going to take a very short break on our side, and we're going to be back with full coverage of the WR Chess Masters Bughouse, a first of its kind. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Yes, and we are back to the playing hall. We can hear the other guys are playing in the nearest room, so they're also screaming, continue playing. But now we have a very important semi-final match. You can see that Jan Nepomniachtchi and Maxim Matlakov they're facing Yesipenko Andrei and Nodirbek Abdusatorov. So it's a very, very big fight. And the one who wins, he will go to the final. So let's check what the players are talking about, and maybe we can hear something interesting. English, please, guys. English. I'm trying to convince them, but really hard because all of them can understand Russian. Let's check the position. I think Jan has a good initiative. He brought his pawn on e3. It's a very dangerous mark. And what's going on in the game between Maxim and Nodirbek? Yes, see too many pieces around the black's king. The position looks really dangerous at the moment. Probably Nodirbek is waiting for some pieces. You see what's going on? I mean, both players are explaining to each other. No, both players are explaining to each other which pieces they would like to get, and in case if the other one can do it, he's providing the pieces. Yes, so it's a lot of talking between them. For example, Jan now says, "Don't give him a knight, don't give him a knight." Yes. Probably yes. He's afraid if Andrei will get the knight, his king will be in trouble. Yes, and they're discussing which pieces will be dangerous and which are not, according to the position they have. Yes, you can see, but everybody tries to save some time as well, because time can be a very decisive factor at certain point. Yes, Jan is very happy about his position, it seems. A big threat now. Queen f3 was played by Andrei. He wants to take on f7, and also the bishop is hanging. It seems like Jan still has a piece in his hand. According to the rules of Bughouse, you have to show the pieces you have from your opponent. Yes, Bughouse, it's also about conversations between the players. Sometimes they cheer each other up. Sometimes they give the variations to each other. And of course, having fun at the same time. Oops, Nodirbek played the move and all the pieces fall down. Oh my god. Yes, now they try to realize where the pieces stayed before. Yes. Yes, I mean, again, they're discussing which... Okay, pawn on f7 is a very dangerous move. Look at this. And now knight goes to e8. And in case if Nodirbek takes the knight, then Maxim can take the piece from the other board. Yes, and look at this. Now, from the other board, Maxim will take the queen. Yes, so now Andrei's queen has gone. Yes, the position is unpleasant according to Andrei, but he's trying to hold it. Double check on the board. Bishop is on f2, rook e4, threatening the king. Yes, so I think it's time to go back to our studio and listen to the commentaries of great commentator and grandmaster Yasser Servan.
Welcome back. I looked at the position. I can't believe it, Anastasia. There was like a double check on bishop on f2, and I was like, how did that happen? Rook on e4, bishop on f2. Looks like white is getting destroyed in this game on our lower left. On the other game, black is with the initiative, but again, it's not the American rules where you can place with checkmate, because if black has a knight and pawn, he just goes knight e2 check and pawn to g2 mate. That would be the American rules. In the European rules, you can't do that. In the meanwhile, there's a queen on the e8, so anything like a bishop, for example, could come to h6, and it's not checkmate, but it will be a follow-up checkmate with queen coming to f7. So he did take the queen on h5, but rook came to g8. Let me see if I understand this properly. I guess he must have a knight in hand so that he can play knight to g4 check, and then it will be mate. So I think black is lost on the lower right, white is lost on the lower left. So it's about the clocks. And Nepo and Maxime, we may have to go over to Anastasia and ask her for some help.
So we are back to the playing hall, and the game's just finished with victory of Jan and Maxime. Yes, I see lots of emotions here. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. I see the checkmate on the board. Andrei, how did it happen?
He checkmated me, like I couldn't do anything.
What do you feel right now?
Disappointment, I think, yeah. A bit. Yeah, because we felt that we can win this one. Yeah, but what to do?
It's the cruel game, I know, but I heard finally, Jan, you said something good to Maxime, to your teammate. Yes, finally I heard something like, Maxime, you are the best, or something like that. So what happened?
Yeah, but when you say 10 bad things, yeah, normally one good thing is super priceless and motivating. That's my strategy, to motivate Maxime, yeah. Yeah, because after this game I spent my time going to chess.com and checking an article like Bughouse for beginners. Okay. So I played an opening according to this article, and yeah, now
so you improved.
Yeah, by a huge margin. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence, you're improving by yourself.
Yeah, I have no intelligence at all. Yeah.
I don't know about it. Maxime, what can you say about this game?
Yeah, actually, it's a big surprise that we won this match.
Maxime just didn't use any of his pieces, yeah? He played
what
he had, yeah?
Yeah, look at
Still you're complaining.
No, I mean, okay, look how great he is, yeah? So he just didn't need any of the pieces. So he played he played London.
With these pieces and attacking chances, yeah.
Okay, so only one extra rook, yeah, you see, so just he needs only 8 pieces and 8 pawns to win, yeah? Even in a Bughouse game, yeah? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, in this kind of Bughouse, I have some chances, yeah. So
I think everybody still has fun no matter what, even no matter of result. Nodirbek, what can you say?
Yeah, probably I should have played against Jan and Andrei against Maxime. we planned it so before the game, but yeah.
They tricked you.
Yeah, maybe.
It was really exciting match. So now we have Jan and Maxime in the finals, right? If I'm not mistaken. And unfortunately, this great team, Andrei Sipenko and Nodirbek Abdusatorov is out for the moment. So we will have one more semi-final, and then finally we'll go to the final games. And we are back to Yasser, to the studio.
Hello and welcome back. There you had it. Some great trash talking between Nepo and Maxime as they were trying to discover who was the weaker, better player, I guess. In any case, they did take down the team of Andrei Nodirbek, and the result is that, like it or not, Nepo and Maxime are in the finals, and we're going to discover just who their opponents are. It was really kind of a lopsided match as both the kings got mated. I noticed as I was coming into our broadcast here in studio, outside, Levon was playing Bughouse, a 1 player against 2. And somehow he had managed to outplay his opponents, giving a Bughouse simul. This is really hard because, of course, you have to play on 2 boards and you're switching back and forth, and it's very easy to fall behind on time. I'm not sure who our semifinalists are. I know that Levon for sure and Wadim, they got to the playoffs, and it was Prague and Wesley. I wasn't 100% sure who was the other semifinalist, but it's going to be the team of our sponsor, organizer, Wadim, and they're off, and Levon versus Wesley Slow and Prague. And let me just make sure that I've got the correct board. I'm trying to match the board with the one on the top. There is, we don't have the names. Looks like a London system with C5 and Levon with the black pieces I think Levon's game, it's so hard to tell from the camera angles which side. I'm not doing a very, very good job, am I? But there's a knight on d8 in Prague's position. So the first, so Levon and Vadim are the team at the top of the graphic, and the team on the bottom is Wesley and Prague. Now there's a white knight on d8, and it's captured a queen, but something's happening on d2 as well, so it's not all play on one goal for white. And this move g4 is an indication that it quite possibly that that black is the one with the initiative. That's rather counterintuitive of what's going on there. In the meanwhile, Levon with a knight on g5. There's some vague looking attack. The pawn went to d7. Okay, again, this knight on g5 is controlling e5. I might be tempted as white to play bishop takes g5 check, provided I have a knight in my hand. And, well, we just saw the move knight takes f7. Crazy things are happening in both games. This move knight takes f7 precipitated this move knight takes d2. Not a big fan of that move, knight. He did have a major piece. That was the question. Could he drop a queen on to c1? And he's done that. That's huge. Now the momentum might have shifted decisively in black's favor. Levon's king has floated all the way to f6, where he's claiming it's perfectly safe. What's the problem? He's just captured on e2. Ideas of capturing on f1, followed by putting a pawn on e2, perhaps, that type of thing. Ooh, rook h8? What is going on? Very, very hard to tell. The pieces are all getting tossed around the boards. Okay, rook takes d1. Yes, this is a very standard idea where you're checking on the sides. Knight, what? Ace? No, that must be a bishop on a6. I can't imagine. You could play pawn to d3, and the bishop can take on f5. So Prague just needs a pawn. Pawn to d3 check. That Vadim could get mated with the pawn on d3. And in the meanwhile, Levon is also doing his best to avoid mate. So it really feels like Wesley So and Prague are the team that's going to make it into the finals. I don't know what the clock times are, but it really looks like Wesley and Prague have this match in hand. King to d. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I can't believe it. Suddenly the momentum has shifted once again. And we can see maybe a knight coming to c8. It's not going to be mate. If you go king to d6 and you could put a knight on c8 and you can promote to a knight, that would be checkmate. So Vadim might be saving his team. I don't know what it is. He's had to play bishop takes f6. That's a bit of a concession. I would have liked to have played queen to... Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't understand that move, queen to c5 at all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why queen to c5 in that position? Unless he has a knight in c8 in his hand. So some question about can he put a piece on d3 or not. Wesley? It's like the pieces blink and they're gone, and very, very hard for me to follow. So just apologies for that. Clock has stopped. There's a shaking of the hand. Levon is rousing himself like, we have won. And I think Wesley and Prague lost. And we go to Anastasia for confirmation. What?
So we are back to the playing hall, and yes, Yasser, you are right. The confirmation is here. Vadim and Levon just won the game. You could see this final gesture of Levon. Levon, during the game, first of all, congratulations, guys. Great job. Secondly, why did you say at a certain point that you don't like Wesley anymore? So what was the reason for that?
I think Wesley was just playing too well. And I'm a competitor. And yeah, you know, he was hurting my feelings with his good moves.
Yes, I can understand that. But later on, you changed your attitude, right?
Yeah, later on he became the usual Wesley that I know.
Wesley, please defend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just talking time.
No, Lebon only likes me during the Olympia. No? Yeah.
When you play for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was the match? Explain the final positions. Like, what's going on? What is all this mess about?
So black has to protect, and the queen is coming to g7 with mate.
So this is the point. Yes. So
Vadim found this queen c5, which is very beautiful.
Yes, and it's mate.
Bravo, Vadim. Great job. And what's happening on this board? Wesley had to still find a way to checkmate you, but
he didn't. Yes.
Vadim delivered the victory today. Yes, to the team. Great. So now, guys, you are in the final. Congratulations. Great job. Bravo. So now we have two finalists, if I'm not mistaken, and we are going to have the final very, very soon. And I think everybody's enjoying so far what's happening in the playing venue. Bughouse chess top players tournament, the first one in the first in the history of chess. Probably there will be many more. Is happening right now, and we are coming to the final stage. Yasser, we are going back to the studio for tell us what do you think of what happened just right now.
And now here it is, the finals. And it's amazing that Vadim and Levon, who won the tournament, WR Masters, is in the finals in the Bughouse. And guess who else is in the finals? Nepo is in the finals. And they're off just like that. No ceremony, no nothing. Let's get going. And whoof, away you go. I believe that on the top, we are seeing the team of Levon and Vadim. Vadim's white against Nepo, and Maxime is facing off against Levon on the other side. And we just have this standard sacrifices on e3 and f2 in the game of Levon. And I must say, Vadim and Nepo just like bang, 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 bang. They're hosing the pieces off their board, and Vadim and and Levon are playing very slowly on their board. Knight to d5, hitting this bishop on e3, and you can immediately sense what it is that Levon would like to do, which is to put a pawn on e3 and put a pawn on f2. That would be checkmate, of course, but putting a pawn on e3 followed by maybe a knight on f2, that could be devastating. And that's it. Right away it goes. Pawn to e3. The move bishop f2 was wrong. It would have been better to play the move bishop g1 and then to invite the pawn to e3, and then play a move like, for example, knight to e4, and make a stand and fight and sacrifice over the f2. There he plays knight e4, but the bishop should have been on g1. And now, I was going to say the knight could have dropped in on e3. Bishop dropping in on e3, darn good as well. I just thought the knight was even stronger. Bishop to g1, and again, drop that knight. Dropping a knight in on e3 in this case looks really, really good to my eyes. Put a bishop on h6 if you have a bishop in hand. Knight drops back to c4. Love that move. Again, Levon is really infesting e3, d2, b2. You could put a pawn on a3, and you get the idea is that you're having all the fun. On the other side, Nepo, there's going to be some kind of a smothered mate. You put a major piece on G8, you take on F6 and knight F7. So any major piece, he played bishop takes F6. Not sure, there's a queen. Holy smokes, there's a queen lurking on B2, which means you can play queen takes F6 check if I have the right position in front of me. By the way, I don't see a white king. I don't know where Vadim's white king is. Somehow that's missing. Something is a little bit off in that game. I'm not sure exactly what's going on in that game. Something is missing. White king. Going back to the game of Levon, I just saw pawn landing on B2. White's in big trouble in this game. White's in big trouble. Maxime's in big trouble against Levon. And it looks like Nepo is in trouble. That queen on B2 is really on the board. It's lights out because queen takes F6 check along with rook takes F8. That's just, but I don't know where White's king is. There's a missing white king. He hasn't castled short, he hasn't castled long, so I'm going to guess it's in the center, E1, E2. And there you have rook takes F8. That was the move that looks devastating because queen takes F6. What are you going to do against queen takes F6? Or if you like, probably even better is if you have a bishop in hand, you could go bishop to G7 check, king takes G7 followed by queen takes F6 check, and then you can promote and mate on the board with the pieces in hand. And it looks like Levon and Vadim have won, and looks like a very deserving victory indeed, because Levon has just put a major piece, rook to C1 check, and over to Anastasia to congratulate our winners.
We're back to the playing hall, and you know what just happened? Please don't put the pieces. Illegal move. Yes, illegal move. Finish the game.
Yes. He played D7, but the position is so terrible for White that
it's hopeless.
I think Maxime made a mistake early on. He allowed me.
You played many times D3 in this game.
Yeah, it crushed them totally. Yeah. And Vadim did a very good strategy. He just exchanged some things. And
Vadim, your comments. Okay, first of all, congratulations, guys. You won this Bughouse event. Woo! How do you feel?
Actually, I was expecting this, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it's the only game I can play against these guys. So, yeah, we won. Thank you to Levon. It was an amazing teammate.
Thank you, Vadim. We played very well.
Yeah, thank you to all of you who participated. Yeah, and now we go to lunch. Yeah.
But wait a second. I had a feeling that also Levon today won the trash talking contest as well. Yes. What do you think, everyone? Yes. Who is the winner? Anish, are you agree? Can you come please closer? Sorry.
I felt the tension was very high, and I really like that there is no rule. But as soon as illegal move is there, suddenly everybody is alert. Yeah, this is nice.
This is very funny. Yes, and after these guys, they had some time. I didn't want to ask them immediately these questions, but still, I mean, how do you feel now, Maxime?
Actually, it's a pity to lose this game in this kind of
manner.
Yes. Yeah, and of course, at the end, it was wrong pre-move. So, yeah, but the situation was completely crushing for us.
Jan, sorry to disturb you, but please, the last comment.
Maxime got back to his roots, yeah?
Yes.
That's it. That's what I can say, yeah?
Did you enjoy at the same time?
No.
Maybe this is a key.
Yeah. I'm here to enjoy, yeah, but Jan, okay.
Maxime doesn't need prize money.
Yeah. Okay.
Jan is here to win always, yes?
Yeah, I'm playing for free. The whole prize for Jan, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. And I mean, I think it was really great event. Maybe anybody would like to comment a little bit on it. Anish, more words about it? Like, did you enjoy yourself? I saw you were playing outside. I noticed it.
Yes, I felt there was too little action. Normally you play Bughouse in a row. One, you finish, you lose, you flip the color, you lose again, you flip the color, you lose again, you flip the color, you lose again, you flip the color until you win. The whole night is gone.
Yes.
But this was very low intensity for me. You know, like one game, then you wait another game, like too low intensity. I think it has to be more hardcore. Next time we should do it more hardcore.
Next time for sure. And Levon, one more last question. Like, do you feel it was kind of unofficial world championship in Bughouse today?
No. But I mean,
You invite other players, so it could be the world championship actually in Bughouse.
I think Fabi is very good. Fabiano is very good. Yes.
Hikaru is also very strong. Hikaru and Alireza both strong.
So next time we have to invite them. So I'm asking, how can we improve? Yes, for the next year, I hope.
We need Magnus and Hikaru and Alireza.
Okay. So we're going back, I think, to Yasser right now because I just heard that he wants to join us for the last comment. And back to the studio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our studio. It was fun. It was a very, very light-hearted tournament, but the Bughouse competitors themselves took it very, very seriously, I can tell you that. And Levon Aronian and Vadim Rosenstein have won the first inaugural Bughouse Grandmasters competition live, and you saw it here as well. They have defeated Maxime and Nepo, and you saw the look of disgust there at the end of Nepo. Few suggestions for future formats. When you get to the playoffs, semifinals, best of 3. When you get to the finals, best of 5. That would have made it absolutely terrific. We hope that you enjoyed our coverage of this, the Bughouse. Our congratulations to Levon again, as he seems to win everything here in Dusseldorf. We're signing off for myself, Lizzie, Anastasia, all of the great guests that we had, our entire production staff, our organizing staff, our arbiter staff. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll say good night. Bye-bye.